Hi everybody, welcome to the Museum of Culpeper History, and thank you for joining us for this week's installment of Hands-On History. My name is Helen Thompson and I am the Education Coordinator here. Today we are going to be talking about crazy quilts. Why are we talking about this? Because part of our ongoing quilt exhibit has been crazy quilts, like the one you see back here. So crazy quilting originally started in the 1870s. Now at first it was more for upper class people who had lots of nice scraps of fabric laying around like silk, velvet, taffeta, tulle, that kind of thing. And what they would do is that they would make these very abstract patterns of quilts. And then they would do all these different kinds of embroideries. So it was very random, but it was all intentional. Later on in the 1900s, people of the lower class and middle class started doing their own little designs of it. So they weren't using the super nice materials like silk and taffeta and all that, but they were using things like muslin, cotton, flannel, that kind of thing. So where did this theme come from? What happened? So in the mid-1800s, there was this big worldwide exhibition held in the United States. And what happened is it featured cultures and artwork from all over the world. And some of these artworks were from Japan. Now these artworks, they weren't exactly like the kind of thing you would see back here, but they did sort of inspire a more abstract, natural way of doing things. And it just so happened that around that time, Japan also started exporting much cheaper silk, so it was more widely available in the United States in a way that it hadn't been before. So if you want to take a look at one of our exhibits back here, this is actually made out of recycled ties, like neckties. And you can see they're pretty funky shapes, pretty wacky patterns, but that's the kind of style that would have been in. So why are we talking about this in Culpeper? Well, some of our past quilt exhibits were actually from Culpeper. So some of the women who grew up in this area in the late 1800s made their own crazy quilts. Now, crazy quilts weren't the kind of thing that you would snuggle up with, put on your bed or your couch or anything like that. They were more ornamental, so they were there to be fun to look at. So today, since we probably all don't have a bunch of scraps of fabric laying around, and it's going to be a little bit easier to do this with paper, we're going to make our own sort of crazy quilt design. So what you're going to want to do is you're just going to want to take a blank sheet of paper, any color is fine, and you're going to kind of want to make just a bunch of diagonal lines across of it. So you kind of have this mixed match of shapes. Then what you're going to do is you're going to lay any color of construction paper you like over on top of it, and you're going to cut them out. And what you'll end up with is a big mismatch of colors over here. So what I did is I then took them, laid them back out where I originally designed them. It helps if you make copies of this, by the way. And then I taped them down. So like so. That way when you flip them over, it looks much cleaner on the back. And what you're going to end up with is a finished product like so. And what you can also do is if you want to put your own sort of stitches in, you can draw little designs. So stitches would have been sort of naturalistic patterns. They may have looked like plant life or just, zigzags, swishy streaks, that kind of thing. People would have also embroidered flowers, bees, bugs, that kind of thing. One of our past exhibits actually had some of that. So once you've taped everything down and you've got all of your designs that you'd like to put in place, yours is going to look a little bit something like this, but obviously it could look a lot different because that's kind of the whole point of crazy quilts. They're pretty random. They're all unique and special. So thank you for joining us today. Again, my name is Helen Thompson, and have a great day.